Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the NACL playoffs. I'm Drew Goldfarb, joined as usual by Nick DeMeo, and it is good because this is part two, night two, basically, of the first round of the NACL playoffs. And Nick, we've got ourselves a really good matchup tonight.
We do. We know these people before, and I'm glad to be part of a historic moment in esports hockey. We're here in the second half of the playoffs between Entourage and Composure. And Drew, as you probably know, I've calling enough of these games now. We're in for a treat.
Definitely. Really looking forward to seeing the way these teams stack up. The series, as of right now, Entourage, the 5 seed, holds a 2-1 advantage. We're going to be picking things up with game number 4 in this best-of-7 series tonight between these teams. And what do you expect? Because obviously, when you're playing a 4 versus a 5 in basically any league except maybe the NBA and the Eastern Conference, you usually expect the teams to be really tight, really close as far as skill goes, as far as abilities go. Are we looking at, do you think, maybe a 6-game series, maybe 7 tonight? Or can you see this series kind of going more quickly than we might be expecting?
You know, Entourage leads 2-1 right now, and I'm not going to be one to go ahead and put a mark on what this might come out to be, because I know I'll be wrong no matter what I say. It's either going to be jinxed or it's not going to be right. But here's what I do know. Entourage so far has done a great job containing Odie as the defensive all-star for quite some time now. He was pointless in 3 games, official mark with 1 point. On the other side, though, Hendry does lead Entourage's scoring right now. So they've done a good job, but let's flip the table a little bit. We talk about Shekel, and his save percentage not really the best, 29 out of 35% for saves, and you know, played much better than the good numbers show, but Composure can put pucks in nets quickly. So I don't want to call it, Drew. I'm not going to be the guy to do that, but I'm excited for some hockey tonight.
And you mentioned the goaltender as well. I mean, when you're looking at Hart in the other side on the Composure half of things, regular season numbers for goaltenders, it doesn't come much better than what he was able to put up as far as the goals against that he was giving up per game this season. Just really a very difficult player to beat in the regular season this year. Entourage, though, has beaten him twice so far to pick up wins already in this series. They're going to have to do it 2 more times if they want to advance to round number 2. Only one team, as you see on your screen now, has advanced to round number 2. That was thanks to a series sweep in round number 1, and it's the 2 seed that's already punched their ticket to the second round.
Yeah, it's fun to watch kind of how playoff hockey happens. We all know, watching hockey across all medium right now, or in the past rather, that no matter what happens, anything can happen in the playoffs. So as you see there, BBB moving on, already secured their spot with a 4-game sweep over Hidden Potential. But that's not to say there's plenty of hockey left to play. Montage moments still in it. We've seen crazier things happen. And obviously with the games we have tonight, 4 of them, if it goes down to it, starting with, as you mentioned, midway into game 4.
Yeah, and obviously, just to clarify, in case you might be confused, the second round will be reseeded. So as of right now, BBB is the top seed that has advanced. But if Vertigo is able to win one of their next 3 against Montage Moment, they would face the lowest seed that advances. BBB would then face the remaining team. They would not go head-to-head under any circumstances as far as advancing. If Montage Moment does come back and win 3 straight, they would face BBB in round number 2. And every team that advances to the second round is in the money. So getting a series win, getting those first 4 playoff wins is a really big step for any of these teams, any of the 6 teams that are still competing for a spot in round number 2.
Yeah, it's fun to watch this kind of playoff format happen, and I'm really excited that we do it this way, where we kind of switch it up as we get into the next part of the playoffs. So, Drew, I'm just ready for some hockey to get started. It's been a long time, and I've missed it.
Yeah, it has been a little while, and it's nice to be able to get back into some hockey, and it's good to be able to see it with teams like this because, you know, just being able to see the competitiveness, the competition between the two is always going to be interesting. And you had mentioned just that we're going to be starting a little bit into game number 4. There was basically a reason that they had a replay. They're going to resume play from a point that there was a disconnect, essentially. So that is what we're doing in game number 4 here. And then we will obviously have the rest of the series after that coming your way immediately after. Those games will always start beginning of the first period. So just when you see, if you jump in, if you think we're skipping ahead, we're not. It's a continuation. Don't worry about it. We'll keep you up to date on everything as this goes forward.
You know, it wouldn't be playoffs. We gotta keep ourselves on our toes, and we're not jumping live into action. But I'm ready to play. And for all those keeping score at home, it will be 0-0 with 16:45 left in the second period. So I'm ready.
Yeah, plenty of hockey still to be played in that game number 4. So when we're looking at these teams in Composure and Entourage, what they've done, we do have something we want to show you here as far as numbers and everything with the matchups. Looking at the centers, this is their numbers just from the postseason. How did the centermen line up in your eyes?
You know, it's interesting. I like what we're seeing so far, and the score lines kind of tell the tale of these centermen here when we talk about Entourage versus Composure. Jay Claus, we know him quite well. We know his ability. We know Nick on the other side, and I might have a small bias in the share of the namesake, but nevertheless, these two men both feed their wingers for offensive firepower here on their teams, and we see that there on the scoreline. 5 points, 4 points. We're 3 games in, and they're in the middle of supplying the teams with goals, but they're not ones putting the goals in themselves.
I like that pun. The centers are in the middle of putting their teams on the scoreboard. Also worth pointing. I appreciate it. Also worth pointing out with the centers is at least from the regular season, the discrepancy in face-off numbers. Because on Nick's side for Composure, he led the entire league in face-off percentage. On the other side, meanwhile, Jay Claus had a face-off percentage of just below 44%. So that could be interesting when you get into those offensive or defensive zone draws where you know that Nick is going to be able to look at those things and enter the face-off circle, and that might be a bit of an advantage that he brings to his team. Both of these guys, fantastic, though, for their team when the puck's already in play.
Yeah, controlling the puck is obviously key when we come down into playing, especially in your own end, trying to get the puck out. You definitely want to win the face-off. So if Nick can control that play and control the puck and move it out of his zone, it's simple as the famous Monday Night Football side commentary guy said, and I won't mention names, but if you keep the puck out of your zone, you'll end up scoring more points than the other team.
That's deep. That's very well said. It's amazing. So now we're taking a look at the winger matchups here, because you talked about the fact that the centers really contributing as far as getting those assists, the primary assists, the secondary assists, whatever, to build up the offenses. This is where a lot of the goals are coming from these teams when you're looking at it, as far as obviously just when you're talking about forward lines. That just is the way that this goes. But Hendry, on his side of things, 2 goals, 4 assists. He is not just a goal scorer.
No, he's not. He also can feed quite well, and he does so game in and game out. It's probably why they're up 2-1 going into this 4th game. What's interesting about this, Drew, is they got 9 points on one side for Entourage, 11 for the wingers on the other side. So the points are going by the ways of the wingers, but not necessarily reflecting in the victories for the teams.
Very interesting to see how that would work out defensively when you look at these guys and you see the offensive output that these guys have had regular season and in the postseason as well. But really the regular season numbers for the defensemen offensively really jumped out at me when we were preparing for this matchup. Just seeing the sheer volume of assists, especially on the Composure side, 22 for Mark during the regular season, 24 for Odie. And on the other side, you've got 11 combined regular season goals between George and Regs.
Yeah, it's regular season points do matter when it comes to production. We kind of want to look for those players to take advantage of the opportunity they have in the playoffs and do something with the puck. As I mentioned before, though, Odie, not so much has happened for him so far. Pointless in 3 games. And on the other side, I got to really tip my hat to not only the wingers, but the defense in George and Regs. But that's not to say they can't strike fast, and they do strike fast. So I do expect Odie and Mark tonight to get on the same page and really center the offense in the zone around them moving the puck quickly. That's what they're really good at, and that's what gives them the chances to score.
Could be a real nice key for Composure to try to get back into tying the series and then maybe being able to take it from there. Game 4, obviously a big one when it's a 2-1 series. We talked a bit about the goalies already, but Shekel versus Hart, when you're looking at these numbers and you see the way that they've done so far in the postseason, obviously all of these games are head-to-head. So one goalie's going to win, one goalie's going to lose. What jumps out at you as far as when maybe one of the players going a bit below what they did in the regular season, or maybe even stepping up above what they had done in the regular season?
Yeah, we look at Hart specifically, and that's somebody I want to point out here. We had 24 games played. We had 1.58 goals against average. He was first in the league with 7 shutouts as well. Led the league in performance, and you look at the save percentage there, 76%. That's really not telling the tale of what they did in the regular season, but it's only 3 games, like you mentioned.
Yeah, for him, that save percentage is down about 5% from the regular season. Meanwhile, on the other side, for Shekel, his regular season save percentage also it rounds to 83. It was 82.8%. So he's been basically just in line with what he had been doing all season long, including on the goals against average, where he was 1.95 for the regular season. So he's been Mr. Consistency in net through the first 3 games of the series, which admittedly, very small sample size.
Yeah, Mr. Consistency is the key, but making the greater saves than what the stat line may show. He played a heck of a game in game 2, made the right saves and kept his team ahead, and that's really what we're seeing there, more so what is not on paper versus what is.
So these teams getting ready to go, we're a couple minutes or a period in a few minutes into game number 4 of this series. Entourage leads it 2-1 in the series overall. What does Composure have to do here to even the series up? And is game 4, when you're down 2-1 in 6v6, is game 4 of a best-of-7 series a must-win situation for the team that's behind?
I think it is. I think you want to definitely tie up the series. You don't want to go down 3-1, especially against a team that has won major championships, specifically the Caps Gaming and 2 other Sixes championships. So this is not a team you want to be down early on. So I think if your team Composure, you want to get your composure underneath you, and you do want to score early, score quickly, and control the pace of the game. Entourage is really good at taking advantage of opportunities, especially down the wings with speed. So if they can control that, slow the pace down, do what they do, which is center the scoring around the defense, I think they could win this game.
I do believe we are very close to being able to jump in on this game. The teams have found each other in the servers, and they have begun things as we are getting underway and we are approaching that mark to begin this 4th game of the series as we join the action now. And you can see things are once again back underway as they will just send the puck out of play for a neutral zone faceoff right around the 16.5-minute mark of what is period number 2. Just make sure you remember that it is on your screen as 1. It is actually period number 2. Entourage controlling, and now with an offensive opportunity, just backhanded towards the net by Hendry. It ended up going off the side of the cage, and clearing it out is Composure. What can they do with it? Trying to enter the zone, they're just going to dump it in, and giving chase, picking it up is Regs for Entourage. He's going to move things back out with about 5 minutes gone by here in period number 2. Even game between these two teams here as we get things going one more time. Turnover just the opposing blue line by Entourage. A nice steal by Composure. That was marked. But again, the battle for possession in the neutral zone. These games, always a battle when you're just starting. And even though we're in the second period, because these teams are picking up where they left off, you go back to kind of that neutral zone battle for a little bit, do you not?
Yeah, you definitely do. You have to kind of get a feel for what the game speed is like. It might be different than last time, probably is. So you want to make sure you get a good feel. A lot of warm-up games for sure, but it doesn't always reflect what you see on the ice during game time. And then from there, you kind of build your offense.
See what Composure can do as they enter the zone, but they turn it over just above the red circles, rather, as Hendry managed to clear it out. But it was picked back up by Composure in their own end, and they're going to play it out on their own. We're midway through this game number 4. Entourage leading the series 2-1, best of 7. The series will end tonight. Hendry enters the zone, but he is offside as he went for that spin move right on the blue line. That's always a dangerous thing to do as far as where you are on the ice, because you can always trick your own teammates in addition to tricking out the opponent.
Yeah, and sometimes the timing's just a little bit off, as you saw there. So keeps the defense kind of honest, though. You don't want to take those penalties early. You don't want to poke check. So smart move as long as it's timed right.
We'll see what happens here as Composure will re-enter the offensive end. They've got an opportunity. The puck was in the slot area, but a good job by Regs getting in there and taking it away and starting the puck up for Entourage. In the offensive end, J. Claus with it, getting down low. Nice block in the low slot area. I believe that was Nick that got in the shooting lane because J. Claus just walked right in and Nick wasn't having anything of it. Puck in the neutral zone, turnover. Nice little position by Nick to make that steal. Marco in the corner, banks it around the boards. It's going to come back up towards the point, but a good read and intercept by Hendry forces the puck back towards neutral ice. 5 minutes, 5 seconds remaining in period number 2 of this tie game, game number 4 between Composure and Entourage. Composure gets it into the zone, but Entourage doing a really good job of defending because I don't believe that they've given up a real scoring chance just yet in this resumed game. That pass down low by Hendry was intercepted, but a really good job that they've been doing defensively, Nick.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see so far having them keep the play to the outside, and that's kind of going back to what we saw in the last couple of games where they're just slowing down the offensive power that is Composure.
Final 2.5 minutes to play here in the second period. A dump and chase by Composure, and they pick it up on the one-timer, and they score. Marco from the slot just knocks it in on the beautiful one-time feed that he received from beneath the goal line.
You know, they say dumps don't work, but that's not always the case. It kind of creates a scrum, especially when you get it into the corner, which they did there. And that's a heck of a pass, a good awareness to put the goal home, and now they're up by 1.
Tendy with that gorgeous feed, and that does break this tie late in the second period. Moving the other way, George down low. He's now in the corner, leaves it down for Hendry, gets it back to George, up top, long shot taken, and it's turned aside by Hart. Final 30 seconds of period number 2. Marco got on the board just a minute ago. Final 6 seconds. Can Composure make it a 2-goal lead going in the locker room? 3 seconds and 2. A nice, huge hit by Hendry, and that will bring us to the end of the second period. A 1-goal advantage for Composure after 2.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen all we've seen so far. I know we're going to have a shortened game here, but that was a staple of a shot, kind of sending a message over to Entourage is Team Composure. And then look at that right there. I feel like Shekel should have come up a little bit more to make that save. Kind of the angle was a little bit off, but maybe he just didn't see the pass.
It's a difficult thing to do to get that far out in your blue paint when a split second before, the puck was beneath the goal line. That's just, I think, a really good job of creating your own opening in the net by using the passing from beneath the goal line where the goalie has to hug the post and then just throwing it towards the center of the slot where he's got anywhere on the net to shoot at.
Yeah, especially when we talked about Composure in the pregame, we said they have to move the puck around. Sometimes you got to flip it in, and that works as well. So we saw that happen, and you have to find a way to win, right? So they did that. So far, they're up by 1. We'll see if they can keep the lead, or as we know what Entourage can do, if Claus and Hendry can get active, that might happen as well.
Just over a minute gone by here in period number 3. The puck now in deep for Entourage. They're looking for an equalizer. Regs getting it towards the slot. That one's sent towards the corner. Now an opportunity to maybe clear it out. Marco makes the feed across to Odie. He's going to skate it out, and just across the blue line, he loses possession. 2-on-1 opportunity. Hendry tried to make the pass, and a beautiful diving block by the defenseman, and that keeps the puck from being redirected in because J. Claus was right there.
Yeah, he was right there, and it's been interesting to see so far. The defense didn't want to finish my thought just in case something happened there, Drew. But yeah, the defense kind of laying down and taking out the pass, which was really smart. Something I wanted to point out there is Tendy is pushing up when they're in the defensive zone of their team and keeping George honest so he can't necessarily get a lot of room with the puck. Trying to get a breakaway. We'll have to see what comes of that little chess match as the game progresses here.
Nick with a nice move to get the puck free and out of the zone. And now an opportunity for Marco as he's just going to make a pass towards the opposite corner. Banked off the boards, and Tendy scoops it up. Drops it off as he got hit, and Marco scooped it back up. Another battle. Tendy for Marco. Banks it around the boards. Odie up top, just going to get it back in low. Marco again for Tendy. Looking to go back. It's going to go out of his reach, but up for Mark. And kept in the zone just barely, but he had to just skate back to neutral ice. Mark wasn't sure if he was going to be able to hold the blue line. And rather than risk the offside, he decided to just tag up and maintain possession of the puck. 12:20 to go here in period number 3. A 1-goal lead for Composure in this game 4. Big hit, and that leads to a big chance for Composure, perhaps the other way. A 2-on-2 rush has turned into a 4-on-4 zone presence here for Composure. Is now everybody back in that Entourage end. Scooping up the puck in the corner is J-Claws, trying to make that long pass up for Hendry, but it was a little bit out of reach, and it moves back the other way. Nick, double spin move, but he gets pushed off the puck, and J-Claws will scoop it up and move it out. Fisher enters the zone, gets crushed. Puck stays in the zone. Long shot taken by George, and it's kicked aside of the corner by Hart. That allows Composure to move things out of their zone, and now into the offensive end. Tendy trying to center, but a really good job by J-Claws defensively to force him to the corner and force the puck free. Trying to center it again was J-Claws, but it was well read and intercepted by Composure. And with under 7.5 minutes to play here in regulation time, Composure had it in the offensive end, but had it stolen away. Hendry moving up. Good job on that back check there by Mark, getting back with the puck and making sure that they did not get an odd man rush out of it the other way. Entering the zone now, Tendy. One-time feed. He was looking for Marco, but it was a little high. I think he had to throw it too high because otherwise it would have just gone straight into Shekel in the net, and that wasn't a shot that he was looking to take. Marco takes the shot. It's turned aside and held on the shoulder by Shekel. 4:51 to go in the third.
4:51 to go. Kind of the time is of the essence now for Entourage to get one early here. Or get one soon here. We know that there's going to be a fast minute due to the way we're picking up the game action here. I think you have to tip your hat to official Mark so far for making what could be the play of the game, keeping the game with a 1-0 goal lead for Composure. That's really the play of the game, I think, Drew.
Absolutely. At this point, I mean, aside from the goal, which is always an obvious candidate for play of the game, that one is a game saver at this point. 1-0, and you mentioned that quick last minute means that we're basically going to be losing about 50 seconds of game time in this final minute of this third period, because EA thinks it's the second, but that's a long story. Anyway, so what do you have to do if you're Entourage? Obviously, we're seeing a timeout taken here. You're running out of time. Anything that you're seeing that they might be able to do differently?
The timeout was smart. I think it's play fast here, right? Get the puck, get control, and go. I don't think you don't have time to sit down and wait. You have under 5 minutes to go. Like you mentioned, it's going to be a fast last minute. So the next 2 possessions will kind of determine what goes on here.
Good tie-up off the draw, and that leads to a rush for Entourage, but that bank pass was out of the reach of everybody and goes all the way back in, so they're resetting with under 5 minutes to go. Turnover. Marco with the chance in the slot. Good check thrown by Fisher to force the puck free. Hendry in the offensive end. Final 3 minutes. Nice little pass made. Just trying to get some space is Regs. He centered himself. He was looking down low for J-Claws, was intercepted. Regs takes it back. Centering feed, looking for Fisher on the one-timer, but it was read and intercepted by Mark going the other way. Mark down low in the corner, just taking some time off the clock, feeds it to Marco, and then that long pass up to the point, out of reach of Odie, and we're in the final 60 seconds of this contest of regulation. Big steal on the offensive end. Bank pass off the boards, and it's out of the zone. Final 30 seconds. Only the last 10 is in real time, and here it is. Last chance to tie it up. J-Claws crosses the red line, tries to make the feed up. Puck is loose. It's low in the slot. It's pushed on goal, and it is over. The game is done. Hart hugs the post and makes a save at the whistle, and that is how game number 4 ends. The series is tied up as dropping to a knee was George, and he just could not get a hold of it. That is an amazing finish to a game, and this series is 2-2.
Wow. That is a way to end the game, I think, Drew. All the storylines we set up going into the game. Oh, Hart doesn't get a shutout. Hart isn't making the right saves he needs to make. Odie isn't getting active, but then Mark not doing his part defensively. Makes the big save, the stop of the goal. Then right there, can the wingers get active? They do. Reg steps up. A lot of things happen in the last possession there, and it's everything you would want if you're an esports or a hockey fan. As you see the puck bounce off of the post, Drew. I didn't see that initially. That's a heartbreaker for Entourage, but way for Hart to stay with it.
That was a crushing way to end. I mean, nothing screams devastating like hitting the iron late. It's I don't know that that's necessarily like was it the U.S. and Canada, the women's gold medal game, where that 180-foot shot hit the post and stopped on the empty net, and Canada ended up scoring to tie it and then to win it, and so the U.S. ended up losing. It's not quite that, but that was just an unbelievable effort to finish. That was it screams we're going to have at least 2 more games coming your way tonight, at most 3 between these teams. And if the last minute, especially that game, is anything to go by, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm ready for some hockey now. I feel like we got that one. It was kind of a bonus for us to kind of see how that was going to shake out. But what we're looking at now is a clean slate. We are at a best of 3 in this quarterfinal. I don't even understand what happened at the end there. It was so much going on. But now the teams have kind of settled in. I feel like the heart rate went up on both sides, Drew. You felt that a little bit, maybe for both teams, kind of got a little bit excited, and now they're kind of in game mode, right?
Yeah, I think that the heart rate's certainly going up, and maybe especially for the goaltender for Composure, because he just had to deal with that flurry at the last possible second and was really tested at the end there. Entourage getting a really good opportunity, but, Hart, with his heart rate going crazy, probably standing tall and making a save and getting some help from his best friend. The teams have found each other, by the way, again in the server, so we're getting ready for game number 5. This series is tied up 2-2, a best of 7 contest between Entourage and Composure. Entourage for this next game will be wearing the white jerseys. Composure will be in their home dark jerseys. What are you expecting here from game 5 after that unbelievable, heart-pounding finish to game number 4?
Well, now technically in the books, Composure has won 2 straight. So Entourage went up 2-0. Now Composure has tied the series up. Can they maintain the pressure? I want to say yes, but I do know what Entourage is capable of, and I do know that they are not going to take this down lightly. So I do expect a redemption statement from them here in the first period. If they can get off to a great start and get control of the game, then we'll see what they can do. However, I feel like the momentum has shifted for Composure right now.
It is hard to deal with a team that has won back-to-back games. It's harder, though. I mean, Composure did that. They were down 2-0. They have now changed that, and they have won back-to-back to make this a 2-2 game. You see Entourage in the white. You see Composure in the black and gold. And we are ready for game number 5. Which team will get themselves 60 minutes away from punching a ticket to round number 2 of the NACL playoffs? We are underway. Again, Entourage moving upwards, Composure in black going downwards, and this is Tendy entering the offensive end really quickly. Beautiful dangle to get around Regs, but a great back check. I believe that was J-Claws getting his stick in there to poke it towards the corner, because that would have been a really big early opportunity for Tendy. Puck in the neutral zone, dumped in cross ice. Chasing it down is Hendry, but he's not going to get there first. Odie scoops it up, trying to circle away from Hendry, and does so successfully. A few minutes gone by here in period number 1. Marco had that goal in game number 4 to tie this series up. It was the only one that we saw. It was the game winner. Here's an opportunity down low. Taking that shot was Odie. He was turned aside by Shekel. The puck still in the offensive end for Composure. Can they do anything with it here? Marco feeds it towards center ice. Good read and intercept and trying to clear it out, but unsuccessfully as the puck shot towards the corner. Regs with it, taking his time, trying to make sure that he gets the puck out of their zone. Gives it over to George. George moving with it. He finally exits the zone, drops it back for Regs, and they're now just trying to find their way into the Composure end, but Composure holding strong at their own blue line, and they have regained possession. Nick leaving it back for Mark, and it's dumped in. Giving chase is Marco. He will actually get there and touch the puck, but it's scooped up anyway by Fisher now. Can he clear the zone? He's just going to play it on back, and probably the safe play is he was basically cornered right in front of his own bench by a player for Composure. Dumping it in cross ice is Regs, as Entourage trying to get back into that feeling out process. They have offensive zone possession, but a really good read, and that was Mark getting in the passing lane and just intercepting that one-time feed. We've seen that quite a bit already through the 3 periods that we have seen between these teams today.
Yeah, a little bit of a force there from Entourage, but they are controlling the pace well so far, even resetting the play. It might not be in the offensive zone, but they have control of the puck.
Entourage trying to move it out. Nice little spin move to find a clearing by J Claus, but he ices it with 8:51 to go in period number 1. This series, a 2-2 contest. Round number 1, the 4 seed and the 5 seed. Offensive zone draw for Composure and the top faceoff guy in the league during the regular season, but a great faceoff win by J Claus on the other end. That allowed the puck to leave the zone, and now with the steal from their own end and moving back with it, we're going back to that possession battle between the blue lines as these teams continue to trade possession, trying to take the blue line and then immediately losing possession, as we just see there. An offside will force a neutral zone faceoff with 7:23 to go in this first frame.
An offside kind of to the credit of George there. He kind of poked it off the boards from that bank pass, and it pushed off Tendy to be offside. That was a smart move.
Neutral zone draw is won by Composure. They're going to enter the zone, but they just could not stay onside. So we're going to do that again. The faceoff will switch sides of the rink with 6:59 to go in this scoreless first period of game number 5. Faceoff won by Entourage. They've done a really good job. That was something that pointed out J Claus's faceoff percentage during the regular season, nowhere near that of his center counterpart Nick, but he has been really strong in the faceoff circle today.
Yeah, he has, and like we mentioned going into this series tonight, Nick was winning 60% of the draws over J Claus, so that gap is shortening.
Absolutely. Final 6 minutes. That centering feed, the puck down low, but reaching out to cover is Shekel. And he will get a whistle with 5:45 to go in the first. So Composure with an opportunity. They scored on a one-timer to the high slot in game number 4. That feed was looking for a low slot pass, but Shekel read it and managed to make sure that that shot was not taken, at least not cleanly. Shot from the point goes on net. Ooh, that was dangerous as it got deflected on its way and slowed to a bouncing crawl in the blue paint. But again, Shekel covers.
Yeah, those what we call broken plays a little bit kind of scare the goalie. You don't know what's going to happen with the puck, who's going to end up with it. He was able to stay there and get control of it, thankfully, and the game's still tied.
Final 4.5 of the first period. Here's an opportunity for Entourage. George with it, banks it around the boards to Regs. Regs still with possession, trying to find a little bit of space. He's going to move in and make that long bank pass all the way around to his defensive partner, George. It was left in for Hendry, but had the puck poked away from him and taken back by Composure. What can they do here? Nearing 2.5 to play in the first period of action. Opportunity down low, but a little bit too low as that backhander was put off the side of the net. Centering feed in front, and on the rebound they score. Tendy picking up the goal in the closing minutes of this first period.
Tendy picks up the goal, but it's not without a little bit of help from his teammates. They're splitting the defense. It looks like George and Regs got a little bit sloppy there, closing up the gap between the two of them, and they broke free for a great breakaway chance and then led ultimately to the goal there, Drew.
Really big opportunity and a lot of staying with it on that one. It's the first plan didn't work. The second plan may not have worked, but it eventually did in fact work, and it results in a 1-0 lead for the 4-seed Composure. Exiting the zone is Entourage. Hendry with it, making that bank pass into the zone, but a good job of pinning up against the boards by Tendy, avoiding that interference, but making sure to at least interrupt the path of travel for Entourage in the offensive end. Here's a last chance, 5 seconds left. Can they get one last shot? They take the shot, but it's turned aside, maybe been blocked by a defenseman, and that is the end of the first period of game number 5, a 1-0 lead for Composure.
Almost a little bit of shades of the last game in the third period there, Drew, in the last couple of seconds right there, trying to tie the game up, unable to do so. And now Entourage goes into the locker room at the end of the first intermission, or at the beginning of the first intermission, down by 1 goal as we look at the replay here.
That was basically very similar to the goal they scored in the last game. It just didn't go in on the initial shot, and they got the rebound. So the positioning there to get that rebound was beautiful because Marco, again, he scored on that goal basically on a very similar play in game number 4, and they pull it off again, and that shot didn't work on the one-timer, but the rebound was right there.
Yeah, picking up the trash, right? We want to make sure we're there picking it up. getting pucks onto the net. They did that, and that's a big reason why now they have control of the game.
If it weren't for garbage goals, I may have never scored in men's league. Here's
I can relate to that.
We're about a minute and a half into this second period, and another test of Shekel right in front, but he makes the save and covers up for the whistle with 18:26 to go in period number 2. A crucial Game 5 between these teams and a 1-0 advantage for Composure as they look to take a series lead for the first time in this first-round matchup against Entourage. Puck in the neutral zone, just trying to find some space is Regs. He's just going to make that cross-ice dump in, and it's going to eventually make its way to Fisher. Feeds it around. It's going to come back up top for George. Plays it in down low, centering feed. George looking for the rebound, but instead it's Fisher picking it up and knocking it in. The referee may have waved that one off, I believe. I saw that animation for a wave off. Yeah, for, I believe, goaltender contact, but that was a really good effort by Fisher and all for naught.
Oh, I don't know about the goalie contact. It looked like a clean traffic in front. George set up the screen. They put it home. You know what? It's still no goal. We move on with the game, but that was a great opportunity by Entourage there.
Yeah, that's a really difficult one to lose because especially early on in the second period, you think you've tied the game up, gotten your first goal of the day, but instead it's still 1-0, and here's an opportunity the other way. A nice little backhand shot from Tendy, turned aside and covered by Shekel. That was dangerous from that sharp angle because Shekel was on the other side, so if you can get that little bit of space with that puck, that could have been a dangerous one, but instead we get a whistle with 14:44 to go in the second. Face-off controlled by Composure right off the draw. Puck now down low, trying to center. Ends up going on net as the backhand feed from Tendy deflected off a defenseman and on goal. Shekel made the stop of what I believe was technically a deflection off of his own defenseman. 7 minutes gone by here in the second period. Huge hit at the blue line, deserves another, but they are just barely offside as Marco could not stay just on the other side of the blue line and just crosses the line. A couple of huge hits resulting in an offside whistle.
Yeah, those huge hits is what kind of led to the offside as the puck was kind of skirting around there. Nobody was able to pick it up because players were on the ice in the way, and they reset now.
Got about a third of the way through the second period of action. 1-0 Composure, getting the goal in the first from Tendy, who led his team in goals during the regular season. Here comes Entourage the other way, but just over skating the puck was Hendry. That allows Composure to scoop it back up, and they will move on out. Opportunity for them as we approach the midway point of this contest. Banked around the boards to Marco. He's going to send it even further around and up for Odie. Odie in deep was trying to center it back for Tendy, but it banked off a defenseman. It gets to Tendy. Rebound is loose in front, but Nick just could not get the shot away as, again, they were looking for that centering feed and maybe a rebound. Going the other way, Entourage with it. J-Claws had it, lost it, and Composure will move it out. Marco gets it in the offensive end. It's in deep. Tendy scoops it up. Huge hit, and that's going to draw a penalty, and a big one. A 5-minute major is coming against Reg. So without one of their defensemen for the next 5 minutes, that's a really tough one for Entourage.
And the penalty kill was not too great for Entourage in the regular season. 75%, which was 12th in the league. They got a big one to kill here.
D-to-D passing and a shot that goes wide, back up towards the defenseman. Now skating in, centering feed, gets it back, and taking the shot was marked, but it was blocked. And now picked up by Entourage and cleared out by George, but not all the way down. It's picked up in neutral ice, and then George with the intercept, and he's going to skate in the offensive end. Shorthanded chance, Entourage takes the shot, rebound, and Hendry tucks it in, and we are tied on a shorthanded goal.
Hendry with the cleanup from the rebound, almost a 2-on-1 chance there, Drew. And you got to get the puck on the net. They did that, and Hendry puts it home. They're tied, shorthanded.
Beautiful job by George. He cleared the puck not once but twice. He cleared it out of the zone. Here's a chance quickly the other way as Shekel making the save down low on Marco. But George did a really great job on that play of clearing the zone and then making the steal again as Composure tried to re-enter. And it led to, yeah, like you said, basically, not technically, but basically a 2-on-1 chance for Entourage that results in their first goal of the evening and a game-tying goal while shorthanded on this 5-minute advantage for Composure. Can Composure get one back with the man advantage? Moving with it is Odie. He's going to get it down low, and it's scooped up and cleared out. Now J. Claus is just going to dump it in a little over the glove of Hart and towards right behind the net where it's scooped up by Odie and cleared out. 2 minutes, 12 seconds to go on the power play. 5:14 to go in this second period. A 1-1 game as we have a whistle for offside. A short-handed marker for Hendry, and that one is a beautiful one if you're an Entourage player or fan, and a tough one if you're Composure, but you still have 2 minutes here on the power play. One-timer, and they score. That is an answer goal with the special teams as a power play goal that will still be just one of what they could do on this power play, this man advantage to retake the lead here in the second.
Yeah, you mentioned as a fan of Entourage, you have to love that shorthanded goal, and I was about to say it was going to be short-lived because they still have to kill off the penalty, and this is the disadvantage you have of having a major penalty. You're still on the ice after a goal is scored, and that happened here.
Still a minute 15 to go on this power play for Composure. We'll see what they could do here as they pick things up and move it out. Odie made the pass. It's now Tendy with it in the corner. Drops it back for Odie. He's down low. Odie getting it across from Marco. Marco circling in the corner. Just going to spin it back for Tendy. Played back up to the point. Odie gets around a defender. One-time feed. The shot is turned aside by Shekel. Now in the corner. Marco was trying to center himself, but had it stolen away. That will do it for the 5-minute power play as we are now back to 5v5, 6v6 hockey here. Under 3 minutes to go in this second period. Each team coming away with a special teams marker on that 5-minute Composure power play. We remain a 1-goal differential as Composure leads it 2-1. Puck deep in the Entourage end, scooped up by Regs. Pass on ahead for Hendry, and he will enter the offensive zone, but just offside. As that, again, when you make one of those moves, when you try to back in, the teammate, I believe that was Fisher, doesn't fully read it and tries to move in with your skates. The puck is still in the neutral zone, and that is an offside whistle. Chance now for Composure as they enter the zone, but a turnover. Now Hendry, nice little spin move. Feeds it down low. Rebound generated on Fisher's opportunity. Hendry could not quite get to it. Final 4 seconds of this second period, and it is a 2-1 game as we go into the locker rooms. Each team scoring on the same 5-minute power play for Composure. And we remain, as we were after one, with Composure holding a 1-goal lead.
And you don't see that too often, is the same two teams scoring a goal on the same penalty. And we did see that there. And I think if you're Composure, you're kind of happy with the way that worked out. You got the goal that you wanted. Granted, you gave up a shorthanded, but you're still up by 1 with 20 minutes to go in Game 5. I think they can close it out, but Entourage, I don't think they're going to be too thrilled with what happened there. Great heads-up play later on in that period by Regs to cut off the end around that would have led to another goal, but the big challenge here is, Drew, can they shore up the middle of the ice? That slot has been very dangerous. Shekel's played pretty well to make the saves he needed to save, but it's still wide open for those one-timers.
If you are Entourage, do you take that and a 5-minute penalty as they take a shot here and generate a rebound, but it ends up going towards the corner? Do you take that as, hey, we gave up a power play goal when we had tied it up? Or do you take that as we were shorthanded for 5 minutes and we exited the penalty in the same spot as when we entered the penalty?
I think you kind of have to be happy. You never expect getting a shorthanded goal, right? So that was a bonus, and then it went back the other way. I don't think it's really deflating as much as it is, okay, we killed off the penalty at an even keel instead of being up as a plus on that penalty. So they got a lot of work to do here as we're only a quarter of the way into the third period.
And here's a rush for Composure. That puck centered again, but well read and intercepted that time by J. Claus as he moves it up to George. George in deep, leaves it back for J. Claus, and again now for George down low, looking for that wraparound chance, but Hendry just could not get it to go. And now with 5 minutes gone by here in the third, Composure enters the offensive end. Odie with it in the corner on the left side. Huge hit up against the boards, and that will allow for a breakout chance for Entourage going the other way. J. Claus in the offensive end with possession, was trying to get it down low for Fisher, but it was read and intercepted by Composure, and they now will start it back out the other way. Marco feeding it lower for Nick, and it's taken away by Regs, and now played on ahead. George with it will enter the zone, but just offside with 12:47 to go here in this third period of action. 2-1 Composure in this game, a 2-2 series. This is period number 3 of game number 5. Those hits numbers really impressive, 16-7 in favor of Entourage, but it has not allowed for them to get back into tying this game up just yet, but they're winning the physical battle at least.
They are winning the physical battle, and we'll have to see if that equates to something offensively for them. So far, we haven't seen it, like you mentioned.
Guy I used to work with, Bill Lindsay, liked to always say that if you're really winning the physical battle, it's not a good sign because it means the other team has had the puck enough for you to be hitting that much more than your opposition. So we'll see which one may ring true at this game's end. We're halfway through the third period. Here's Composure. Marco down low, wrapping it back around up for Odie, trying to center himself. Good steal and a chance the other way. Fisher leaving it up for Hendry. Try to get it back, but an amazing back check for Composure. And now they've got a chance. Marco trying to center, kicked away by Shekels. He got the left leg pad out, and we're going end to end. And now a power play chance for Entourage, thanks to a penalty taken in the neutral zone by Odie.
And this is the moment for Entourage after that quick back and forth, and you saw them coming down the right side wing there, throwing it on for Shekel. He made the kick save, and it equated to that power play that we're about to see here. Looking at Composure here, penalty kill 77%, 10th in the league, not doing too much better than Entourage going into the regular season. Power play for Entourage, 14.8%, 6th in the regular season for them. This is the time for them to score. If ever there was an opportunity for them, they have it here.
See what they can do. The faceoff is to the right of the goalie Hart. Faceoff is one way back, but it's scooped up by Hendry and played back up top, and then intercepted and cleared out by Composure. Thought we were going to have a rush by Tendy, but it's taken back up and re-entering the zone. Fisher dropping it back for Regs, D to D. This is George. Now for Hendry, circling with it, trying to make some space. Takes a shot. It was slowed down on the way. Don't know if it quite got through to Hart. Either way, it was denied. J-Claws behind the net. Puck is thrown on goal, and reaching back to cover up was Hart, as he's going to get the whistle here with just under a minute to go on this power play.
Quick stat line here. Entourage has 1 goal in their last 9 periods, including this one here so far.
We'll see if they could break that trend a bit, as Composure will send the puck all the way down. First one getting to it, though, is Tendy. So Composure with possession in the offensive end while shorthanded. Good job of killing off some clock. Final 15 seconds of the power play. Maybe a chance to set up something before we get back to 5-on-5 as they've entered the zone. Fisher with it. Feeds George. His shot was deflected on the way and ends up harmlessly in the corner as we're back to 5-on-5, 6v6 hockey. Mark with it. He's just going to clear it out, looking for that long home run pass. The Omaha play gets a favorable bounce off the boards. I think that one just avoided ever crossing the goal line, and that may have been why there was no icing call on the play. Hendry will enter the offensive end, feeds Fisher in the slot, trying to get it down low, but it's immediately intercepted by Composure, and they will send it back towards neutral ice. Hendry, under 4 minutes to go here in the third period, getting it over to J-Claws, has it poked back towards the bench area. J-Claws gets up for Fisher. They're in the offensive end, but a good job by the forwards for Composure, forcing that turnover. Marco in the offensive end, feeds Nick, now over for Tendy, back up top, Odie. Gets it in deep. It's Nick with it. Banks around the boards up for Mark. Long bank feed. Maybe looking for that shot in front. They took it. Nick taking that bounce off the boards, getting the shot on goal, but Shekel makes the save with 102 seconds left.
I like that you went triple digits on the seconds there, Drew. That was good. But yeah, the big bank pass, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but sometimes the backboard is your best friend. And he took that opportunistic bounce, tried to put it home. And that's the same play we've seen, except normally a winger will come behind the net and throw it back up to Nick or Marco for that like quick one-timer short side thing. Shekel's able to stay with it, thankfully, keeping his team relatively in the game. Like you said, 102 seconds left. But Composure well in control here.
Composure, the time on the attack, over double what Entourage has. Their shots over triple what Entourage has, but all they need is one more shot. There's a one-timer that was blocked in the slot area, and dangerous puck as Marco pushed it through the crease and maybe a couple of inches of puck's width wide of the net. Long shot taken and kicked away by Hart, and now Composure with possession in the final 50 seconds of this contest. Tendy gets it into the offensive end, but has it taken away by George. Pass up, Hendry feeds the other defenseman, that's Regs, who's going to have it in the offensive end. Regs setting up, gets it for George, down low for Hendry, in the corner, bank pass for J-Claws, shot! they've tied it up with 33 seconds left. It is a tie game. What an unbelievable shot, and I just think that was a lucky bounce, a fortunate bounce for Jay Claus's shot as that one ends up going in.
Yeah, it looks like maybe Hart came off the post just enough, but that end around worked, and now we got a tie game with a half minute to go in the third period.
Unbelievable. We're down to the wire yet again. Final 22 seconds, the puck in the corner. Entourage, reborn, long one-time shot taken by Fisher and covered up for the whistle by Hart with just under 18 seconds to go.
Hart able to rebound from that goal he just gave up. I don't think that was completely his fault, but he was able to stay with that one-timer from Fisher. He came way off the post to go across the other side.
And there's another one! Entourage takes the lead, a couple quick passes, and Hendry has put Entourage on top for the first time today.
And as I say that, Hendry with the goal, and that's the backdoor play that a lot of teams like to use. Most of the time it's covered, but not the case here.
Final 10 seconds, Composure trying to get something. They need a goal to avoid falling behind 3-2 in the series. It's a 3-2 game, a turnover, and that is it. Entourage, after losing the series lead in game number 4, storms back in the late third period to take a 3-2 series lead on Composure. And what a way to do it, because when at the last timeout just a few minutes ago, we were talking about it, they were being dominated in time of attack and shots on goal, but this is your winner.
Classic Michael Scott quote here will serve good purpose. How the turntables have turned. Entourage is now in control of this series 3-2.
That actually wasn't the Michael Scott quote I thought you were going to go with, but I'm glad it was, because I always appreciate it. I thought you were going to go with his Wayne Gretzky quote, but that's also a really good one. Wow. Yeah, how the turntables have turned, absolutely, in the final few minutes of that game. An incredible difference that, what was it, like 2 minutes makes? We saw it was a 2-1 lead in favor of Composure until the final minutes, and then just one goal and another goal, and that was it. Suddenly Entourage, a 3-2 series lead. That has to be tough if you're Composure. We were talking about going into the locker rooms after game 4 when you get that flurry and you hit the post where you could have tied it in the closing seconds if you're Entourage in game 4. Game 5, you had a 3-2 series lead in your hands, and in the final minute, it goes from victory to defeat. Not even tie, but to defeat. Despite a time on the attack difference, 7 minutes and 30 seconds for Composure, 3:56 for Entourage, and 30 seconds or more of that has to be in the final minute.
Yeah, it had to have been. I think it was a 2 minutes or 2:45 going into that little last flurry we had. If you remember from the beginning of the game, a lot of the control that Entourage had of the puck was in their own end. So you're not going to get TOA for that. You're just going to have the puck and pretty much do nothing with it, but keep it away from Composure. And it just took a couple of seconds. That's it. This is why you don't head back to your car when the game you think it's pretty much over. This is why you don't go get up and grab a hot dog. No, you stay in your seat and you watch esports hockey. Why? Because A, we're staying at home anyway, but B, this is kind of the compelling things we get to see.
Yeah, this is unbelievable, and you can see the updated bracket here for the postseason BBB, that series sweep to open things up. Composure now a 3-2 lead on Entourage in the series. They just have to win one of the next two to punch their ticket to round number 2. Also a tied series is Sixth Sense and Phantoms. That's the 3 versus 7. Vertigo up 3-1 on Montage Moments. So a couple teams with an opportunity to punch their ticket to the next round. Entourage, I really don't know what to make of them here going into game number 6, because that's a game Composure should have probably won, but it's a win it's one in the win column for Entourage, and those can be really beneficial. Obviously, you'd rather have a win than a loss, but which do you take out of it? Is the takeaway that Entourage managed to pull a win from the jaws of defeat, or that Composure controlled the whole thing, so maybe game 6 they just play the full 60 instead of 58?
You know, it's a really good question. I think a lot of teams ask themselves that, especially in playoff hockey, is, you know, did you win the game and feel good about it? And I think at the end, if you ask any player, they're going to say, well, a win is a win, right? So you're up another game. And at this point, you just have to win one, and Composure now has to win two. It does make it that much harder. And I think if you're Composure, there's a little bit of a chip on your shoulder now, because I think they outplayed that game pretty handedly after about 10 minutes into the first period. It was kind of team Entourage, or team Composure, excuse me, the entire way. Quick note here for you. In those brackets, we did see that it said Composure was up 3-2. Not the case, obviously. Entourage does lead 3-2. But Drew, I don't know. I think if you're Entourage, you're like, okay, well, we got one, right? And that was good. And let's go get another.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at it, I think also that's kind of the way that entire game went, is that Composure should have come away with a win in the game. They should have been able to dominate thanks to that 5-minute power play where they got a power play goal. But Entourage scored one shorthanded, so it was a wash on a 5-minute advantage. Composure with the time of possession, time on attack, just domination, shots on goal. But then Entourage just has a really good 90 seconds to close it out, and they end up scoring twice. That has to be kind of, if you're Composure, you go, okay. They managed to, you could look back at game number 4 also and look at Entourage and be like, if their bounce off the post goes right instead of going left, and I don't know if on your screen, if I pointed in the correct direction, I'm pointing in, for reality, left and right. But I don't know, we could be at a 4-2 series is over, or excuse me, 4-1 series is over situation. One bounce going Entourage's way. That's kind of just been the way this day has gone, is Entourage stays in it, and then they either get a bounce in game 5, or they just don't get a bounce in game 4, and that's the difference.
This is why I think when you have a lot of post-game interviews with hockey players, esports players, whatever it is, it's a game of bounces. That's what we play here. And I think you kind of see that. That was the tale of 2 bounces, rather, for Entourage, where in the last game, you didn't get the bounce you wanted, and now you got the bounce that you wanted with that puck kind of sliding into the side of Hart. Nobody saw it coming, yet it's still a goal. It counted, whereas the other one previously from the screen from George did not count. So you're just getting bounces both ways, and you kind of just got to ride the wave when it is in your favor.
Yeah, the goal that went in, the first one that beat Hart, I didn't even see it. It was just weird. The way that went in the third period was just, I still have no idea what animation it was that it ended up beating him. I just know that it was at one point in front of him and then ended up behind him and in the net.
That's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah, and I had forgotten momentarily about the goal that was waved off too, that we saw earlier on, because that was, they scored, but there was goaltender interference, some kind of contact that the officials in-game waved it off, and we weren't positive, but Entourage came away with the win in game number 5, take a 3-2 series lead.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily agree with the wave off. I would have to really question that with the referee operations in Toronto. I'd probably send in a formal complaint or two with a couple strongly worded sentences forming a paragraph to state my displeasure. But nevertheless, Entourage does come out with the victory. And now we got a game 6 on our hands.
A game 6 that could decide the series for the team that will be wearing the home jerseys. That is Entourage. They're looking to punch their ticket to round number 2 of the NACL playoffs. The team in the white, black, and gold, that's Composure. They're looking to force a decisive game number 7. How will this game play out? So far in the games that we've seen tonight, goals are even 3-3 across the 2 games. So these teams have been separated by basically nothing so far. Who will come away with a critical Game 6 victory? Entourage controlling the puck off the faceoff. They get the puck in deep, but cannot set things up. They pick it up. Fisher's long shot, though, goes on goal. Hart does not allow a rebound because there were a couple players for Entourage right on the doorstep looking for one.
Yeah, that was going to be the fast start that Entourage was looking for to take control of a game early on. And a waving puck from the point almost finds the stick of Hendry for the tip, but Hart able to stay with it.
Good face-off win by Nick in the defensive end, and now Composure trying to skate it out of their zone. They do. Long bank passes out of reach of Marco, and that will go for an icing with 18-12 to go in period number 1. So an offensive zone draw yet again for the team in those thin mint colors, Entourage.
Yeah, and something that we want to see here, especially in this game, is the stretch passes that Composure is doing down the wings with speed. It's worked a couple of times. I think Regs has adapted and adjusted to that play style, and now it's forcing them to ice the puck instead. Have to keep an eye on this as the game progresses.
George in the offensive end leaves it back for J-Claws. Pass across the ice. Regs takes the shot. It's turned aside as Hart was there to make the stop. Just about 4 minutes gone by here in period number 1. Battle for possession just inside the blue line, and it's won by Composure. Puck played in front, and skating in front to score is Nick, picking up the goal and making it a 1-0 game in favor of Composure.
This is exactly what I said that Entourage needed to shore up going late into the game that we just got done with in Game 5. That middle of the ice from down low all the way through the slot, and it's still there for them. So if Composure knows that, they're going to keep doing it over and over again until something changes. Now they're up by 1 goal early here in the first period of Game 6.
Do enjoy that Teemu Solani celebration as well, as there's a quick little opportunity the other way, and it is turned aside by Hart. Face-off is to Hart's right. 14:01 to go in the first period. Game number 6. Composure trailing in the series, leading in this contest. Marco trying to center. Down low, another short shot on the short side, and it's in as Tendy picks up the goal, and it is very quickly a 2-0 game.
And I don't know what happened there. Shekel, it looked like he had position on the play. George obviously doing the right thing by forcing the play outside. And that's a quick strike and a great stretch pass there. Exactly what we talked about that Composure's looking to do to break out of that neutral zone chess game. And now they're up 2 goals to nothing. And we still got plenty of hockey to play, Drew.
There's still plenty of puck to be played as well. Just under 13 minutes to go in period number 1 of this crucial game number 6. And I do think what Composure did was they may have been using the fact that they've been using that centering one-time feed to the slot so frequently, they may have gotten Shekel to be leaning away from the post as a long shot from the point, and George is turned aside by Hart. I think that may have been what created that, was Shekel was just reading, okay, I've seen them do this. They get to this spot. They feed the slot. I've got to get across. And he left a little early. Composure wins the draw on the defensive end and now clearing it out of the zone. Nice hit is delivered by Regs. That'll force the neutralized turnover, but an offside will force a neutralized faceoff with 10:41 to go in the first period.
They say 2-goal leads are the most dangerous leads in hockey, right, Drew?
That isn't the expression, yes. That's not even a Michael Scott expression. That's just a normal hockey expression. Although I believe Michael Scott probably also said that he was the one behind that quote. Delayed penalty coming against Composure. Entourage maintaining possession, so this is Regs with some time, gets it towards the slot, but it's finally picked up for the whistle as Composure touches it. Going off is Odie this time. He's going to go off for 2 minutes. And a big power play chance for Entourage as they trail 2-0.
That's a big loss for Composure to lose Odie. He is a core of this team. Have to see if Entourage can take advantage of being ahead, having one D-man less to contend with on the other side of the ice.
So far, they've been unable to get the puck into the offensive end since losing that faceoff to begin this power play. Here they are, though. J-Claws with it, tied up, and loses the puck behind the net as it's scooped up by Tendy. He's pressured, banks it around the boards, and Regs will scoop it up. Final 40 seconds of the power play. Regs maybe looking for George, gets it towards the center of the ice. George with the intercept. George down low, takes the shot on the short side. Now looking for another opportunity as Fisher was denied as well. Power play coming to a close here. The puck still in the offensive end. Now back to neutral ice as we're back to 5-on-5, 6v6 hockey. Nothing doing for Entourage, but a really good opportunity as we have a whistle for offside with 7 minutes to go.
And I wish we can go back and really call out the highlight from Marco defensively on that 2-on-1 to keep George short side and allow Hart to make the easy save. He had great position on that pass, and they weren't able to pass it, and not leaving George with much room there to make that shot.
Really good point on that one. He was the one that created or at least forced Entourage into taking the lesser of 2 opportunities on that scoring chance. Long Omaha play, but that one will go for an icing as neither player for Entourage able to beat the Composure defender to the puck. So that draws another whistle here in the first period. An eventful first period. Shots, I believe, are 5-2 in favor of Composure thus far. They have possession in the offensive end. Long shot turned aside by Shekel. Puck was right in the slot, but it was scooped up by his teammates and cleared out of the zone.
We see a lot of question on why the Omaha play happens, what causes that to happen. Usually it's a call out in the party chat saying that they see the defense up a little bit and to send the puck.
It's a great way to take advantage of a pinching defenseman to allow for that rush the other way. You're immediately behind them with the puck as the quick shot taken by Composure was blocked in the slot area. Under 3 minutes to go as George has possession for Entourage here late in the first period. A 2-0 lead for Composure. Goals by Nick and Tendy so far in this period. Jay Claus with it, rips the slap shot, but high off the glass. Final 90 seconds, centering feed was taken and read by Marco as he just intercepted that one in the low slot. Still with a chance, Hendry trying to get it down low. Good check, forcing the turnover as Fisher was knocked down behind the net. Composure trying to enter the offensive end as we're in the last 10 seconds of this period, but offside is the whistle with 7.5 to play in the frame. Whichever team comes away with the face-off win will have one last opportunity to maybe generate a quick shot or scoring opportunity. Entourage wins the draw but can't get it into the other end. Instead, Marco taking the long shot from the neutral zone as Shekel will get credit for one more save at the end of the first period.
Shekel getting credit for the save, but they are down by 2. And I know it's tough for a goalie, right? You have that quick wrap play, then you have the quick slot, backdoor to slot play, the one time there. What's your decision making there? It's hard to really figure out, but I think that's when you have to rely on your defense to make the right decisions. And even there, I don't know what happened as we see this replay.
Yeah.
It kind of tucks under the armpit of Shekel going for that not really desperation save, but just trying to blocker that thing aside.
Yeah, I take back what I said. He was in position. He was not leaning off the post. That's just a situation where maybe if he's wearing an XL jersey, maybe he goes to a goalie cut next game and tries to get a little bit more sleeve material to stop a puck, because that one was right off of his arm and just an unfortunate bounce for the netminder for Entourage. Here's a quick chance. And that one-timer sat on the goal line, and Shekel, sprawling, sticks it out of the zone and out of harm's way, because boy, oh boy, was that a huge chance quick for Composure.
Shekel channeling Andrei Vasilevsky for that save right there.
Unbelievable, and it remains 2-0. A really quick chance here by Composure, as now Hendry with the puck in the Composure end. Not pushed off the puck, but he's forced to push it back towards the neutral zone. I do want to point one thing out as a correction. When I saw that the shots on goal were 5-2, apparently that was the other way, 5 for Entourage, because they led in shots on goal with 6 after one period. That puck was dangerously in the slot, a low-angled shot taken, but getting the glove on it for the whistle is Shekel. Nice
Tip
save
of the
by
hat
him
there for Regs there, Drew, to make the save and kind of poke free, get in the way of that one-timer coming across the body of Shekel. He was able to track it well.
And George doing a good job there of poke checking the puck that Tendy had, because he was just charging in on Shekel. And a nice little steal made by George, going to make sure that he did not have that all-alone low-down chance on his goaltender. There's a long shot from the point as Odie is denied by Shekel. The puck still in the zone. Good read by Regs, and a good job to keep that puck away and get it across to George. Is now Hendry in the offensive end for Entourage. Backhander on net, and it's turned aside by the blocker of Hart. George keeps it in. His long shot is blocked down in front, and now a chance going the other way for Composure. Marco with it, leaves it back. One-timer across, but a good read and intercept by Fisher starts the puck the other way. Fisher dropping it back for Jay Claus. His long shot is blocked, and now in the corner, Fisher scoops it up, leaves it back for Hendry, looking for the wraparound, and Hart gets there and makes the stop for the whistle with 11:46 to go in the middle period.
Regardless of the scoreline for Entourage, a lot of action happening for them offensively right now, them trying to regroup and get some scoring opportunities, and they're doing so right now.
Face-off one back to George, feeds it for Fisher down low, and he's turned aside by Hart. Fisher playing it along the boards up for George. He gets it down low for Hendry, banked around. Regs pinching in, leaves it back. Jay Claus with the chance, and he scores as he gets crushed in the slot. But that is worth it. A goal for Jake Claus, and it is now a 2-1 game.
Take a hit to make a play. They do so there. Looks like Hart was looking backdoor maybe for the pass back down to Hendry. But no, Claus just fires a rocket from just outside the circle, and they've slashed the lead in half.
Beautiful.
That's a ripper.
Shot. Gorgeous shot. Not really much that Hart could do about that. He just picked the corner. And to take that hit too, you know, that's not something. It's, you know, you run into that. If that hit animation begins a quarter of a second earlier, that shot's not going on goal. But he wound up, he took it, he got all of it, and just picked his spot. Beautiful goal scored by Entourage, and they are now on the board as the lead is cut in half, as we are nearly halfway through this game number 6.
It's almost like a quarterback throwing a touchdown pass as he's getting trounced by a defensive tackle, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's, you know you're going to take the hit. You might as well make something happen with it. Here's a chance
You're getting
for
hit
Composure.
anyway.
Exactly. Even if it's just digitally, it still hurts. See your player knocked down
every
like
time I see a huge hit like that sometimes.
Here's a chance in the slot area, but a really good job of defending by Jake Claus forces the shot to be blocked and wide of the net. Entering the zone but losing possession was Hendry, and now moving the other way, but offside as he touched the puck was Marco. 8:04 to go here in period number 2. 2 first period goals by Composure, Nick and Tendy getting on the board, and Jake Claus picking up the only markers so far in the second frame, getting Entourage on the board and cutting the lead to 2-1 here in game number 6. A must-win situation for Composure. Fisher with possession, he's just going to backhand it, float it deep into the zone. Jake Claus will scoop it up, get it back for Fisher. That one turned aside, may have been a stick save made by Hart. Puck still in the Composure end. Can they clear it out? Good active stick by Jake Claus will force a turnover as the puck does get back towards neutral ice, but Entourage able to scoop things up and start it back in. Cross ice dump in. George holds it in at the point, takes a hit, and because of that hit, ends up keeping the puck in the zone. Hendry playing it down low. Jake Claus centers for Fisher. His shot was blocked. Never got through. He had a really good opportunity, but I believe that was Nick in the lane, making sure that he did not get that shot on goal. Final 4 minutes of period number 2. Composure with the chance. D-to-D pass. Stepping in is Mark in the corner. Now a steal and a delayed penalty coming against Composure, as we're going to have another 2-minute power play for Entourage.
I'm not sure what the penalty was there. It looked like maybe interference.
Either way, 2 minutes with 3 minutes and 11 seconds to go here in the second period. Greg's with it, takes that shot, generating a rebound chance, and Jake Claus has put it in again. We are all tied up as Jake Claus picking up the power play goal just seconds into it. And this is a 2-2 game.
You know, we said before puck drop going into game 4 that Claus was dishing his wingers. And I guess he wasn't too happy with their production because now he's putting the team on his back. That's 2 goals in a matter of mere minutes for him here in the second period.
Call back to a meme from years ago, but he put the team on his back, though. Here's a short slap shot, and it's in as a beautiful play by Hendry, winding up from 5 feet away. And this is now an Entourage lead.
An onslaught of offense here in the second period by Team Entourage, trying to rebound and get a control of this game, and I think they've done so right now. Composure needs to answer back quickly.
Claus getting the assist on that one as well. It is 3-2 Entourage in the game, 3-2 Entourage in the series, as we have 32 and a half seconds left in this second period of action.
I did say 2-goal lead was very dangerous, didn't I?
You did, and you kind of called it on that one. Jake Claus, though, 2 goals and an assist in this period. Final moments of the frame. Can Composure get one back? A shot taken by Marco, but a great job by Shekel getting across to make the save just ahead of the whistle, because this could have been a 3-3 game going in the locker room if it wasn't for the blocker of Shekel.
Shekel really pushed over there, Drew. It was he was not necessarily in the best position to make that shot. Kind of shades of game 4 where he didn't come across the net high enough on the angle. He moved over with haste on that one to not give up a goal in the last minute of that period.
What a hit to force that turnover, too, on the goal by Hendry. That was that was something that may have gone just because of how quick that goal was generated and scored, and the fact that there was a slap shot from 5 or 6 feet away, that hit really created that whole goal.
Yeah, the hit, and then we saw the replay there, the slap shot. That one bounced off the pad of Hart and went into the net just from sheer force, probably from being just 4 or 5 feet out from the net.
We talked about going into this game, the fact that Entourage has had a lot of situations that have come down to bounces, either that went their way or didn't go their way. And in that second period, they had the bounces certainly going their way as they have a 3-2 lead here. 18 minutes to go in regulation time. Hendry getting it in deep. Chasing it down is Fisher as he's just going to make contact with a Composure player as Composure able to clear the zone. Hendy trying to get it in deep, but it was taken away by Fisher. Now the defenseman trading the puck for Entourage as they try to reset from their own end. Hendry will skate away from the attack of Nick and enter the zone, drops it off for Jake Claus, and that is an offside with 16:13 to go in regulation.
You know, you talked about the right bounces. The Claus' second goal on the power play was actually a shot from behind the goal line that banked off of Hart's back and into the net.
George getting it in the zone, banks it around for Fisher. Looking for that backhand wraparound, but stopping him is Hart with 15 and a half to play, 15:35 to play in this third period. Face-off to Hart's right as Entourage has been relentless with their offense. Face-off was won by Entourage, but George was trying to center himself, so he went away from where the puck ended up going. Here's Hendry dropping off for Fisher. Fisher trying to spin away from the attack, but it was stolen, and now a turnover again. Entourage with a chance. Regs with it. With some time and space, Regs backhands it over for George. His long shot deflected in front. Was loose for a second, but Hart reaches out and covers because Hendry was looking for that rebound chance right on the doorstep. Face off this time to the left of Hart as Entourage has controlled here in this third period. Really, since about midway through the second period of this game, it has been all Entourage, and we're nearing the halfway point of period number 3. Good job by Tendy racing to the puck and getting to it first, but he's unable to establish zone possession for his team. Hendry entering the offensive end. Beats Fisher, looking for that short backhander, and Hart hugs the post and then hugs the puck for the whistle.
Fisher was trying to treat that thing like a little toddler, tried to tuck that in short side for a nap to put this game away. Thank you. Thank you.
That was worthy of applause in the microphone. D-to-D pass by Entourage off of their face-off win. Fisher with the backhand pass down low. A couple passes down, backhand wraparound. Hendry tucks it in like that aforementioned toddler as it is now a 2-goal advantage for Entourage.
Hendry with the quick play. That was a great heads-up play to work the puck down low and then back around. Hart was moving all over the place, just trying to follow the puck. And that's hard to do when you move the puck that quickly with a couple of rapid-fire passes. Now they're up by 2.
The 2-goal lead was very dangerous when Composure had it, but 4 consecutive goals for Entourage, and now they are in possession of that 2-goal advantage. Under 10 minutes to go here in the third. Great rush for Entourage, but a good back check by Odie, getting into that play and forcing the puck free from what was otherwise going to be a 3-on-1, 3-on-2 chance for the team in the lead. Possession down low for Composure in the offensive end, but Mark cannot set things up as he loses possession and moves out. Jay Claus fed Fisher. Fisher maybe looking to get it back to him. Is just going to backhand it behind the net, and Composure will scoop it up and move out with 7 minutes to play. They need one, you would think, in the next few minutes here if they're going to try to tie this game up before regulation expires. They cannot get the puck towards that slot area as they've been trying to do for so long, for all of today basically. And now Jay Claus entering the offensive zone in the corner. Backhander, Fisher, feed, and a goal! Hendry yet again, and that is a natural hat trick for Hendry.
A natural hat trick and a great awareness for Hendry to get into the slot and do what he does best, put the puck into the net. Now they're up by 3.
That makes this a very different game with under 5 minutes to play here in the third period, perhaps in the season for Composure. They're going to need to get their composure really quick and get a goal if they want a chance to tie this thing up. There's a one-timer, and there's the goal. Tendy answering my question of whether Composure could get back in, it's once again a 2-goal game.
Like I said, do not go get a hot dog. Do not go get popcorn. Hashtag stay at home. We have a 2-goal difference between these two teams with plenty of time left, Drew.
Breaks a streak of 5 consecutive goals scored by Entourage. It's now 5-3, under 3 minutes to play in regulation time. The last minute is a real-time minute, so if they can get a goal here, maybe with at least 30-45 seconds left, Composure might still have a chance. D-to-D pass. That shot is blocked from the point and sent out of the zone. Fisher, challenged by Odie, slows up, drops it back for Hendry. Hendry with the hat trick. Centering it for J-Claws. Back for Fisher. Now Hendry yet again. Under a minute to play. They're looking to kill time as much as they are trying to score yet again. J-Claws just pushing it behind the net. And now Composure clearing the zone. Tendy, and now this is Marco with possession. Final 45 seconds. Can they get one? There's a short side shot from Marco. Denied. Another chance. Puck loose in front. And it's in! Tendy yet again, and he's got a hat trick. This is a 1-goal game in the final 40 seconds.
You called it. You said you wanted about 35 to 45 seconds left, Drew. Well, they gave it to you. They have one more goal to get. I don't know if they can do it, but they are setting the table for the opportunity.
Marco creating the chance down low. You just see all 4 players. They had 4 on that forecheck. You had to at this point, down by 2 in the final minute. But now they're down by 1. Who is the pressure on? I will ask you that. Tendy has scored twice in the last few minutes. We've got 36 seconds left in regulation. Composure's down in the series. They're down in the game. But they've scored back-to-back. Can they do it yet again?
The pressure's on Entourage to withstand the storm. It's about to come.
Puck in the low slot area as they have tried to do so many times this game, but Entourage clears it out and they're just going to send it down. Jay Claw's trying to give chase. He'll get there and force it to the corner. Final 18 seconds, possibly in the Composure season. What can they do? Nick, bank pass from Marco, back up top. Final 10 seconds. Shot is blocked in front, now in the corner. George sends it around for Fisher. Fisher, can he clear the zone? He will. It's up for Hendry. And in the final moments, one-timer, and J-Claw scores with 1.2. That is the exclamation point on the game and the series as Entourage locks up their spot in round 2.
The dagger making a statement, showing the league why they are 3-time Sixes champions. Entourage taking the series 4-2, Drew.
What an unbelievable performance that they had in this game. They were down 2-0 after the first period, and they scored 3 in the second and scored 3 in the third to pick up a huge win. And Jay Claus, he ends up with a hat trick as well, thanks to that final goal in the last 2 seconds. Unbelievable.
I think he's the player of the series. I think when you look at how the series worked out, especially here tonight in the 4 games we covered, Drew, we had a question mark, right? What was happening offensively? There was 1 goal scored in 9 periods until Jay Claus took the reins and made something happen. I don't know if there was a conversation in the team chat in between periods. I don't really know. What I do know is the entire mentality of Team Entourage changed once Claus kind of built a little bit more offense around what he could do, and he can score goals. I've said it since we've covered the regular season. Claus is able to score goals, and he does so here.
That was unbelievable. Yeah, he had an incredible performance throughout the day. He assisted on all 3 of Hendry's goals, with the primary assist on 2 of the 3, a hat trick of his own, including a power play goal that tied things up early on or midway through the second period. He's got to be the player of the game for sure, and likely of the series as well. Hendry, an incredible performance. Entourage outshooting Composure in that game 19-11. 19 shots on goal for Entourage in that game. That is insane. 18, not counting the final 2-on-0 breakaway.
Yeah, a lot of shots leading to a lot of goals, and that's kind of the name of the game when we talk about how the tide kind of moves through a hockey game, especially in NHL 20. The more shots you get, you're just going to have a better percentage of them, some of them finding the back of the cage.
Absolutely incredible. And yeah, that the The time on the attack for that game, 7:39 to just under 5 minutes in favor of Entourage as well. They did well in the faceoff circle as well, and that was the other thing with J-Claws that I mentioned going into our coverage today was the fact that Nick was so just dominant in the faceoff circle, especially in the regular season, especially compared to J-Claws' sub 50% faceoff winning during the regular season numbers. But I mean, he stepped up there as well. He was standing toe-to-toe with the league's best faceoff guy when it mattered most for Entourage, and he scored, he had assists, he set plays up that he didn't get an assist on with the Hendry shorthanded goal in the second period of the second game that we covered tonight, game number 5 of the series, and he dominated in the faceoff circle. What more can you ask of your centerman?
You can't ask for much more. He kept the faceoffs within just 2 of, like you said, the best faceoff guy in the league. This is a huge statement for Entourage, especially when we talked about this going out of game 5, that they were out time on attack, outshot, outplayed. They only had control of their puck in their defensive zone. There was nothing really going on offensively, and then something clicked late in that game. And like we talked about, it didn't necessarily mean that they won that game on the ice, just on the scoreboard, but they definitely changed that in the second period of game 6, and they were able to put it home, take the series, and move on to the next round.
Absolutely. And tip of the hat to Composure for the game that they played early on. It was just a relentless onslaught from Entourage late in that game 6, but they were right there with them for the rest of that series. The whole time it was a 1-goal win in game number 4, a 1-goal game in game number 5 that they lost, and they made it close in the final minute too, which was unreal, the comeback that they tried in that final game of the series, game number 6. So tip of the hat, a good season for Composure, but it ends in the first round as Entourage picks up a 4-2 series win. Yeah, that's really impressive too. And I also want to point out too that we talked about the bounces that they either got or didn't get. And it's a situation where the bounces didn't necessarily go their way. We saw a goal waved off early on in our coverage tonight that was taken off the board for Entourage because of goaltender interference. That was a little borderline, but that's just the way the game goes sometimes. They didn't get a bounce when they hit the post in the closing seconds of that game and ended up losing. And then they got a couple bounces going their way, but it was a team that basically they could have won all 3. They could have lost game 1, the first 2 games that we covered tonight, but they did an incredible job of putting themselves in a position to get bounces to go their way, because you can't have a bounce go your way if you're not in a spot to get a bounce.
That's exactly right. You hit it right on the head there, Drew. When we talk about kind of building something, establishing something, it's not just a one and done in the offensive zone and then you go back the other way. You're trying to sustain a little bit of pressure to get those opportunities. So I think they did a really great job of doing that, especially as the pressure was mounting against them to make a decision and to make a play. And this is what it equates to. This is the result of putting in the work and just keeping at it, not giving up when you think you're out of that game. And this could be a very different conversation if they let go and took their foot off the gas and not continue to play in game 5, because we could be looking at a game 7 otherwise.
You see, Entourage has moved on to round number 2. They are in the money, as is BBB, who is the 2 seed. They have advanced as well. Entourage could face Vertigo, could face BBB. Those are their 2 potential matchups, I would think. Just trying to do numbers here. If Vertigo wins, they either get Phantoms or Entourage. If Montage Moment comes back to win, BBB gets them, and Entourage would get either Sixth Sense or Phantoms. So we're kind of looking at waiting to see who comes out of that 3 versus 7 seed matchup, obviously, and Vertigo versus Montage Moment as well. So it'll be interesting to see which team Entourage matches up with. Do you think they might have a preference if we're in a situation like that? Do you want to test yourself, or would you rather hold off on facing it? Would you rather? Well, you're either facing basically Vertigo or BBB. It would look like, in all likelihood. So, do you have a preference between those 2?
Yeah, it's hard to say, right? Because you look at Entourage, and as we know with our playoff selection, you had a choice of who you wanted to play, and nobody picked Entourage for good reason, obviously. So I think when they look at that and they go, okay, well, who are we gonna face? I don't think they care. I really don't. I think they're up to the task at whatever's in front of them, and whatever team it is, they will prepare for them, and hopefully we can they can build off of their wins here, which were some crucial wins, some crucial shifts rather, even though there are no shifts in NHL 20, but some crucial offensive scoring chances that led to their victory.
Yeah, they really did a great job of staying with it. I mean, they trailed by 2 in that last game. They trailed in the game 5 as well. They came back to win both. A really good performance by them, by Entourage, to win games where they also were, it's not like they controlled start to finish. They showed that they could stay in a game even when down 1 or 2 goals and still come back to win if they needed to.
Definitely. So that's that for Entourage. However, that's not all for us right now. In just a little bit, we will be talking to one of the stars of Entourage. Lucas Hendry himself will be on with us live here in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. We got a great interview with Hendry coming right up. Back here in the studio, post NACL playoff action with Entourage taking this series over Composure 4-2. I'm in the studio, Nick DeMeo, F5 Penguin, alongside the man that had 3 goals and 3 assists in his Game 6 victory over Composure. We're talking to Lucas Hendry. Lucas, thank you for your time and joining us this evening.
Of course, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. So I know I've covered you before, and I kind of joked about this in the regular season when we first talked about Entourage, that I think I've shouted your name the most in previous coverages with esports. But talking specifically about NACL, I want to know a little bit more about how this all came to be in the victory tonight, especially coming back from that 2-1, being behind in the closing seconds of Game 5. Something just kind of sparked, but I don't know what it was. What was the conversation like in the party chat right there at that time?
I mean, for our team, we usually have pretty good vibes, and we all like click as teammates and as friends, and so we kind of try to keep the vibes up. And I know sometimes it can't be like the best vibes in the party when you're down. And our motto is kind of just like keep pushing ahead. Like we got a lot of time in the game. Even in the last minute, we said we still got a minute left. We can't give up. Like we ended up tying it with, I think it was 35 seconds left, and we were like, okay, this is a game. This is our game to win. And then, I mean, it's just not giving up even when there's only a minute left. Still a lot of time to score, especially in this game with the bounces.
Yeah, definitely. And we talked about the stat line going into that, maybe 2 minutes left in that game, where you guys had I think you were outshot by 3 times as many. Time on attack was like 7:45 to 4. A lot of people in the chat were saying they didn't win that game. Composure won that game, even though Entourage was the victors. But then you go into the next game, Game 6, you're down 2 goals early. Is it the same mentality? You're still going, okay, we have plenty of time left, or is there a little bit of urgency to kind of get ahead there?
Yeah, I mean, especially after Game 5, we were saying we lost 59 minutes of that game. We won the last minute of the game, which, I mean, I guess that's the most important. We ended up winning it all. But then going into Game 6, went down 2-0 quickly again, and that was kind of a tough start. And I mean, luckily enough, there's still 14 minutes left in the first period when we were down 2-0. So I just said to the team, boys, there's still the whole game left. We're down 2. We know we're an offensive team. We can score 2 goals easily. And we just came on the second, and Josh played unreal in the second, got us back in the game, and we just started moving forward once we got it tied up.
Yeah, you mentioned Josh, Jay Claus, for those watching at home. Talk to me a little bit about Jay Claus. We saw going into the series, and after 3 games of the series, no goals, but a lot of assists. But tonight kind of flipped the script there. Was there a conversation of you guys going, okay, we got to center around Josh a little bit more? Or did he just kind of put the team first and kind of take a little bit more charge?
I mean, I think a lot of our offense is ran through Josh, although me and Fisher tend to want to have the puck a lot and do our own thing and kind of, set Josh up. He knows how to take over a game, and that's why he's kind of known as being one of the best players in the game. He can take a game over himself, and we just told him, I mean, we all said to each other, we just need to start putting pucks on net, and that's what we did, and they started going in, luckily for us, and Josh can do that tremendously, just be able to take over a game like that.
You said putting pucks on net. How important is that as an elite player in this league, in esports in general? How important is putting pucks on net? Is it more important than we think, or less important?
I mean, people always talk about like, oh, time on attack and getting good quality chances, but with the way this game is, it's not always easy to get good chances against two top teams. You get like against Composure, they're probably one of the best teams in the game. It's not going to be easy to get good chances, so you just got to take the chances when you get them and just put it on and hope for the best. Almost try to get the bounce, try to get the tip or whatever it is.
How important is it for you having the experience of winning major championships across a bunch of leagues, going into NACL and kind of being behind the gun a little bit to pull out some victories?
I mean, we tend to keep our cool pretty well. I mean, the rest of the team tends to keep their cool pretty well. I know I can kind of be the hothead in the parties when we go down, which I won't deny. But I mean, we try to just keep our cool and just remember that we've been here before and we've played Composure tens of times, and we know how they play. They know how we play, and we kind of just got to keep playing our own game and hope that we get the pucks going our way.
Obviously, we see playoff action happening right now across the league. We have a lot of games still going on. Is there any particular opponent you're hoping for? Nobody wanted to play you in the first round. Nobody picked you guys. Who are you looking to play here in the next round?
I mean, I think we're ready for anyone. I think everyone on our team believes we're the best team in the game, so we're kind of ready for anyone. Whoever comes our way is probably going to lose to us anyways, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Love it.
No, all the other teams are great.
For sure. How important is it right now waiting for the victors of the other games to take place for you guys to get more reps? And you got taking a break, or you're going to hit practice mode? What does that look like?
We've been trying to play more like outside of the leagues recently, and kind of just trying to get on the same schedules and play again so we can get in our role, because we really don't play much during the season. So when playoffs come around, we try to make an effort to try to get on the game more and play with all six of us, because that's the only way we're going to get better and be the best that we can be, by just playing together more often.
Any tips for up-and-coming esports teams to build some sort of chemistry like you guys have that have equated to such success for you so far in esports?
I think the biggest thing is you just got to find a group that you have and stick with them. I mean, I know a lot of teams bounce around from team to team, and I think loyalty is one of the biggest things for our team. We kind of try to stick with the same group, and we've been successful. So even if we have a tough season or a tough few games, there's no point changing it, because in the end of the day, the guys you play with the most often are going to be the ones you win with most often. So if anyone's, trying to become better, it's just find a group and stick with it and just get better together.
Definitely. Well, Lucas, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much. I know you guys are busy, especially coming off of a win like that. I want to thank you for joining us here on the show tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
So signing off here, Lucas Hendry, thank you so much. But more importantly, we have more great NACL coverage coming for you over the next couple of broadcasts. Please make sure you share this on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever you are. Tell your friends about esports, and specifically about NHLgamer.com and the NACL. On behalf of Drew Goldfarb, Sin, Tuggy, and the entire cast that puts on one heck of a broadcast each and every time we get behind the mics, I want to thank you guys for watching. You are watching NHL Gamer NACL Playoffs. I'm Nick DeMeo, aka F5 Penguin, and we'll see you in the next broadcast.